Episode 3 of Biohacking for Virtuous Life.
We used to think the mind and the body were separate. We thought your thoughts were just smoke, ephemeral things floating above the hard machinery of your cells. We were wrong. Science has now confirmed a direct data link between your consciousness and your chromatin. You don't need a pill to edit your biology.
The clock hits 8 hours. The meditator side glows blue. The reader side stays gray.
Today, we are breaking down a landmark study from the University of Wisconsin-Madison and the Institute of Biomedical Research in Barcelona. They took two groups of people. One group spent the day doing quiet, non-meditative activities. The other group engaged in intensive mindfulness practice. At the start of the day, their genetic profiles were identical. But after just 8 hours, the meditator's gene expression had physically changed. They didn't just relax. They performed a mind-body override. So what code did they rewrite? The study found a rapid downregulation of pro-inflammatory genes. Specifically, they dialed down RIPK2 and COX2. If you've ever taken a painkiller like ibuprofen or Celebrex, you know what these are. These are the exact biological pathways targeted by powerful anti-inflammatory and analgesic drugs. Think about that. The meditators didn't take a drug. They created the effect of the drug using their own neurobiology.
Zoom into the DNA strand wrapped around protein spools.
How? Through the machinery of epigenetics. The study revealed that mindfulness altered the levels of HDAC genes, histone deacetylases. Remember the volume knob from episode 1? HDACs are the enzymes that remove chemical tags from your histones, changing the way your DNA is wrapped. By controlling these enzymes, your mind physically tightens the spools to silence the genes that cause chronic inflammation. As lead researcher Richard Davidson said, the calmness of our mind can actually have a potential influence on gene expression. Now you might be asking, why do I care? I'm not a monk. You care because virtuous life is about capability. It's about material exuberance. Chronic stress accelerates epigenetic aging. It alters methylation in stress response genes like NR3C1, literally making you biologically older than your birthday.
Graph on screen. Cortisol recovery rate. The meditator line drops back to baseline much faster than the control line.
In the study, they didn't just measure genes. They stress-tested the participants. They forced them to give an impromptu speech and do mental math in front of a camera. The result? The meditators had a faster cortisol recovery. The degree to which they down-regulated those inflammatory genes correlated directly with how fast they bounced back from stress. This is the biohack. It's not about avoiding stress. It's about training your genome to recover from it instantly. That is power. You don't need 8 hours a day. The science proves that these mechanisms are dynamic. They respond within hours. Here is your protocol for Episode 3. 1. The morning boot. 20 minutes of focused mindfulness. Not zoning out. Intense focus on the breath or body. You are sending a signal to your HDACs to reset for the day. 2. The stress microdose. When you hit high stress, traffic, email, conflict, recognize it as an inflammatory spike. Use 3 minutes of focus to manually override the signal. Stop letting the environment write your stress code. Take the pen back. Thoughts are inputs. Choose them wisely. We have mastered the mind. Now we must master time. Your genes have a rhythm, a 24-hour cycle that dictates your metabolism, your energy, and your repair. But modern life, screens, late nights, shift work has broken this clock. In Episode 4, Mastering Time, I'm going to show you how to use the sun as a drug. We will look at how standing in morning light for just 10 minutes aligns the clock genes in your brain to optimize your metabolism. I'm your host, Janani. This is Biohacking for Virtuous Life.